3 and 26 hundredths by what equal 32 and 6 tenths. I have a decimal number multiplied by some number to give me 32 and 6 tenths. If you look at what changed in the number, here the decimal point was here and it moved one step to the right. So first let's see if my number increased or decreased. It was 3 in a whole, but now it's 32 in a whole. So the value of my number increased or decreased? It's increased. So I multiplied by powers of 10. 10, 100 or 1000. So I will put here and let's check how many zeros will you put, will you add. The decimal point was here between 3 and 2. Now it switched one step to the right. So how many zero? It's only one jump, so it will be only 1 0. So it will be multiplied by 10. Let's check another one. I have here 17 whole multiplied by some number to equal 1 and 7 tenths. I have the same digits here, but only the value of my number decreased or increased. It was 17 in whole and now it's 1 in whole. So it decreased. It went smaller from 17 to 1 whole and 7 tenths. So that I multiplied by a power of 10 or by a decimal. It's by a decimal, because in multiply, in normal, we increase the value. But here we multiplied by something, decreased the value of my number. So that the decimal, it should be decimal, because the decimal changes the function of the sign. So here I have to put a decimal. But what will you write? 1 tenths, 100 or 1000? We will check the movement of the decimal. The movement of the decimal. It was here because there was no decimal. So I will consider it as to the most right as accessory. And it switched one step to the left to be here. So I have only one decimal place. So it will be 1 tenths. So the 17 by 1 tenths will give me 1 and 7 tenths. So first you have to check you are multiplying by power of 10 or by decimal. And you have to also check the movement of the decimal point. How many decimal places you switched. Let's check another one. I have here 805 tenths by what? Equal 8 and 5 thousandths. Here I have 800 in the whole and it went to 8 only. So here I decreased the value so that you are multiplying by power of 10. Multiplying by power of 10 increases the value, but here it decreased. So that I have to find something here, changes the function. It make the opposite. Multiplying by decimal, it make the opposite. So I have to put a decimal here. So I will put a decimal. What is the decimal you will put? Let's check the movement of the decimal point. It was here and it switched to be here. So how many movement I have? There are 2. So I have 2 decimal places, 0 and 1. So it will be multiplied by 100. And to write it in the inverse operation, I will put the inverse of the sign and the inverse of the decimal. The inverse of by is divide. The inverse of 100 this is 100 whole, because you know that 100 this is the same as 1 over 100. So they are inverse.